In the quiet shadows of a dimly lit room, a parent's duty turned to betrayal. What was meant to be tender care and protection twisted into a nightmare. The innocent hearts that should have been nurtured were silenced by a hand meant for comfort, now stained with irreversible tragedy. In this tragic tale of broken trust, the guardians became the harbingers of doom, leaving behind shattered lives and unanswered questions in their wake. This is the terrible story of Ashley Zhao. Come, and as we unravel this horrifying crime,
Jackson Township Police.
Hi, yes, I need some help.
Okay, where are you at?
4924 Portage Street.
4924 Portage?
Yeah.
Hey, what's going on?
I can't find my daughter.
a Chinese couple named Liang Zhao and Mingming Chen resided in Jackson Township, a sleepy little village. With plans to settle in the powerful nation of America, the pair was attempting to establish a respectable life for themselves. While Liang Zhao had been a U.S. citizen for many years, having had his visa approved, Mingming Chen's situation was less clear. She had illegally immigrated to the U.S. when she was still a teenager, believing that living in the U.S. would provide her with a higher level of living, even though she had no legal right to do so. Mingming eventually filed for asylum in the U.S. in 2009, claiming that the Chinese government was persecuting her for adhering to Falun Gong. The Chinese government has outlawed Falun Gong, a form of meditation. This is actually a rather intriguing fact. Though it would appear to be a typical meditation technique, it is really classified as a spiritual discipline, which was outlawed by state authorities in 1999 after they labeled it an evil cult. Falun Gong, which is a collection of meditation techniques and literature that espouse the ideals of truth, kindness, and self-control, is known in Chinese as the Law of Wheel practice. For the pious, Falun Gong offers a way to salvation. The faith gained so much traction that by the late 1990s, millions of Chinese individuals of many backgrounds were practicing it, a development that naturally alarmed the government. It's unclear why Mingming applied for asylum in the first place. It could have been to establish her presence in the United States, or it could have been a real fear of what would happen if she stayed in her native country. The couple eventually married after dating Liang Zhao for a long, and a few years later they welcomed 2 children into the world, Jojo and her younger sister Ashley, who is the main character in this case today. Ashley became 5 years old in January 2017 and was born on December 30th, 2011. Her hair was black, falling to her shoulders, and her button nose was adorable. Regretfully, it became apparent that her parents couldn't cope with the stress of giving birth. When Liang and Mingming had an Asian restaurant in North Canton, the labor was exceedingly hard, and it seemed like a struggle to maintain the business solvent. With time, they were able to expand their eatery to the point that the couple was even seen as a casual friend by the locals, who would often joke and chat with them while they waited for their food and even spoke to their daughters. To be honest, all of this would change, and it would be such a waste of potential. In addition, the Zhao family was not doing well behind closed doors. Running the restaurant required full-time labor, and they did not prioritize their kids' needs. Ashley's parents sent her to live with her grandmother because they believed she would be better cared for there. However, when Ashley returned home to her parents in October 2015, at the age of 5, it was evident that she had not flourished in her grandmother's nurturing. Ashley's father, Liang Zhao, stated that her daughter was not even potty trained, didn't know her own gender, and didn't even know her last name when she was in the care of her grandma. It now begs the question of whether Ashley was maltreated while in her grandmother's care, or if her cognitive delay was a natural birth defect. Ashley didn't seem to heed to her parents and had apparently picked up some bad habits along the way. In addition to being overworked and being irritated with her younger daughter, Mingming was also dealing with unsettling rumors that her husband was become violent. But that was simply the tip of the iceberg when it came to what was going to happen. The Zhao family would be permanently torn apart on January 9th, 2017. Liang called 911 on this particular day with some extremely worrying news. He says Ashley had gotten up from her nap and gone out the back door of the restaurant, but she never came back while he and his wife were hard at work. Leanne said he had last seen her at 5 p.m. after bringing up her older sister from school. When she called in at 9 p.m., Jojo and the other two of them saw her that evening, but she vanished after the rush of dinner. The local community felt compelled to act quickly after Ashley vanished, since one of their own, a young child in particular, had vanished, and a statewide search for her was underway. Authorities searched the surrounding area for her, while residents looked through the parks, lakes, and woodlands.
Her picture on nearly every window. That little face on everyone's mind. People who know her told me Ashley Zhao is not your typical 5-year-old.
A lot of 5-year-olds are shy.
Calling her very social for such a little girl.
She was just very friendly.
She's very vocal. She's not afraid to talk to you.
Douglas Panzarello works across the street. He goes to Ang's Chinese cuisine all the time.
When I leave work today, I am going to drive around the back. I'm going to do my own little search.
Marty.
To everyone's dismay, Ohio's cold wilderness turned up nothing. Ashley was still missing after a protracted search, so the authorities came up with yet another desperate plan. Maybe the young child had just found a place to hide inside the restaurant and dozed off while dogs, drones, and searchers peered out at the icy weather. Police started looking through Ang's Asian food. The family had a large fridge and freezer in the kitchen that could hold food for several days, as is typical with any restaurant. Investigators observed a little gap in the restaurant's wall when they peered at the side of the refrigerator freezer, which was large enough to step inside. Even though the area was completely sealed off, the officers chose to move the appliances aside and have a peek at what might be within as a dark void stares back at them. Their hearts started to race, thinking that since a youngster might fit within, they could have been onto something. Unfortunately, they were right. The officers encountered the biggest terror when they opened the lid of a salt container they discovered nestled within the wall. Ashley Zhao, the small child who had never vanished from the restaurant, was dead and found inside. She had stayed here with her parents all this time, which was a painful fact. Police quickly discovered that Ashley's body had been doused in salt and had been placed inside a freezer. Thus, this was no accident. The proof that Ashley hadn't passed away by the time her parents claimed to have last seen her at 5 p.m. was even more startling because it showed that Ashley had already been dead for more than 12 hours when her father called the police. This was the worst-case situation that the authorities could have imagined, as you can probably assume, and it raised a lot of new issues. Liang and Ming Ming were unaware of Ashley's body's discovery because they had been asked to remain outside the restaurant during the search. But things would shortly turn around, and 40 minutes later, both of them were taken into custody and subjected to separate interrogations. Liang Zhao was interrogated for nearly an hour before anyone else. His web of lies began to fall apart throughout this period, and eventually the man revealed his secrets.
What happened yesterday morning?
Okay, yesterday morning, we got up, we prepped JoJo for school. I took JoJo to school. I came back. When I came back, my wife was very angry at Ashley because she peed on her diaper and she pooped on her diaper. I know this doesn't sound like a big deal, but she's 5 years old and she's not potty trained, like, ever. And usually after I drop off at 9-ish, I can't say approximately because I don't look at a time. Oh, my wife is banging Ashley sat on a carpet. It was 9:15. 9-ish, 9:15, I guess.
Ashley was hit by Ming Ming at 9 in the morning and her head hit the carpet. Her father claims he was unaware of the warning indications of a concussion and other serious brain injury, despite the fact that the small girl's eyes were unfocused and she was having difficulty breathing. Ashley's parents had an opportunity to take her to the hospital after her head was hit on the morning of December 7th, but they chose not to do so, and Ashley passed away soon after. After that, her parents had to decide whether to admit their wrongdoing or attempt to hide it. They picked up 6-year-old JoJo and placed Ashley in her car seat. Then, with the intention of turning their daughter JoJo into a witness and setting up an alibi, they drove to the restaurant and placed Ashley's body in her bed. Following JoJo's sighting of her younger sister, Liang and Ming Ming carried on with their daily activities, preparing meals and serving clients as if nothing had occurred. It's time to call 911, which you heard at the beginning of the video, now that an alibi has been established and the body has been hidden. Given what we now know, it's difficult to hear the call in the same way. It's not a father attempting to remain composed in the face of fear, but rather a man attempting to maintain his composure while keeping a terrible secret.
Jackson Township Police.
Yes, I need some help.
Okay, where you at?
4924 Portage Street.
Okay, what's going on?
I can't find my daughter.
Okay, how old is she?
5. Just turned 5.
Okay, and you're at Ames?
Thanks, yeah.
When's the last time you seen her?
This afternoon, probably?
Around what time? Around what time?
3, maybe 4?
5 hours? 5 hours?
You saw her at 5?
It's crucial to remember that Liang Zhao is the main source of information for much of this story. Liang was the one who told the police that Ashley had been adopted as a difficult and needy child, described his wife's outbursts and the incident that led to Ashley's death, and placed the call that initiated the nighttime search for Ashley in the snowstorm. Liang also provided the extensive confession that filled in all the blanks in his wife's account. Liang also consented to testify against Ming Ming in court, but the video of Ming Ming Chun's questioning is brief and to the point. It doesn't reveal much about her viewpoint on the crime.
What happened? How did she die?
Just killed her, and then she died.
Did you hit her?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd you hit her?
How?
Yeah. What
Use
happened?
hand to do that?
Richard Drucker, Ming Ming Chun's defense lawyer, presents an alternative account from Liang Zhao. According to Drucker, Ashley's father contributed somewhat to her murder. Liang Zhao was violent toward his wife and daughter, and Ming Ming was the victim of an abusive home. Whatever the case, Ming Ming entered a plea of guilty to murder and received a 22-year prison sentence. Liang Zhao was found guilty of delaying justice, grossly abusing a corpse, tampering with evidence, and 2 counts of endangering children, even though he was found not guilty of his daughter's murder. He received a 12-year prison sentence. Neither parent had to appear in court together because they had both accepted plea agreements. Strangely, years have passed, and we still don't know who killed Ashley Zhao. Was it, as some in the media have claimed, her mother, a cold-blooded, cruel person? Or, as Liang Zhao continues to assert, was she slain by a mother experiencing severe mental distress? Is Ming Ming's defense lawyer correct when he claims that his wife was driven to the brink by an abusive father? Or was there some sort of untreated mental disorder at work? We can never be certain. No matter what caused Ming Ming's violent outburst, or why Ashley Zhao's parents behaved the way they did, Jackson Township will always remember Ashley Zhao. Ashley Zhao was honored with a candlelight ceremony 1 month after her passing. Outside Ung's Asian food, mourners gathered with flowers and candles. Once a loving family home, it now stands as an eerie reminder of a horrific crime.
Hey, thanks for sticking with us today. Check out this other thrilling videos for you to watch, and while you're at it, hit that subscribe and like button, and let us know down below your thoughts on today's case. Until then, take care.